Yo, what's up guys, welcome to my Warzone Pacific settings video. This video will be going over all the best Windows settings and in-game settings so you guys get the best performance out of your gameplay. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you find this video useful in any way. I will also be including my Nvidia filter settings at the end of the video, so be sure to stick around for that. The first setting we're going to be going over is the GPU settings. Navigate to the bottom left, type GPU, click on graphic settings. Make sure hardware accelerated GPU is turned on. Navigate down to the browse menu. Find the location of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, pick the large file size option, click add, and make sure this is set to high performance for the best FPS possible. Once you've done that, navigate down to the bottom left, type in game space mode, click game mode settings, and make sure game mode is turned on. The higher end performance PCs will actually benefit from this being off in most cases. You know, if you've got like a 3080 or above, very powerful processor, you might actually want to turn this off. You will probably get more frames with this off. Once you finish with that, you can exit out, navigate down to the bottom left, type in power, click on edit power plan. Then you want to come over to the power options menu. Most of you guys will want to run the high performance mode, but if you're looking for the best FPS possible, you want to unlock the ultimate performance option. To do this, you want to go down to the bottom left, type in CMD, right click, run as admin. Once you come to the screen here, you guys want to navigate down to the description below, and I have put the code for the ultimate power plan setting. Once you've copied that, come back over to the command prompt menu, type Ctrl V to copy, press enter, and then you want to exit out of that. Then you click refresh and you should see the new ultimate performance mode, and you want to make sure that you select that. Once you've selected the ultimate performance mode, you can go ahead and exit out of that. Hover over the taskbar at the bottom, right click, click task manager. Then you want to navigate over to the startup tab and make sure that you disable all unused apps that you don't want to boot up when your PC turns on. So like this WinZip preloader, I don't need that, so I can right click and disable. Once you've gone through all of that, you can just exit out. The next thing we're going to change is the Google settings. If you guys use Google Chrome as your main browser, you want to open that up, click the three dots, go down to settings, come to advanced, then system. Make sure this option, continue running background apps, is turned off, as this will be constantly running Google's background apps whilst you're playing the game, and it's going to be taking up a lot of your performance, so just make sure that's turned off. Then you can go and exit out of that. Next we're going to be going over the BattleNet settings, so right click BattleNet, open file location, hover over the BattleNet launcher, right click, come down to properties, go to the compatibility tab, make sure run this program as administrator is checked, go to the change high DPI settings, and make sure this box is checked too. Click OK, apply, OK. Now repeat the process for the BattleNet as well. Once you guys have finished that, you can go ahead and exit out, go back onto BattleNet. Once you're into BattleNet, you just want to click on the options wheel, click show in Explorer, click on the Modern Warfare folder, come down and you want to find the Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare launcher, and you want to repeat the same process. So just right click, properties, compatibility, make sure this is checked, make sure this is checked, OK, apply, OK. Now repeat that for the Modern Warfare launcher, and once you've done that, you can just go ahead and exit out. Next we're going to be changing the advanced options settings for Modern Warfare folder. Navigate to the Windows, click Documents, find the Call of Duty Modern Warfare folder, click Players, Advanced Options. Now for those of you running on the 30 series cards or the Radeon 6000 cards, you want to make sure the video memory scale is set to 1.2. Now the render worker count is going to be in line with the amount of cores your CPU has, and to find out how many cores your CPU has, you want to navigate down to the taskbar, right click, task manager, come down to performance, and my CPU has 6 cores and 12 logical processors. You want to be looking at the core number. So as you can see, I've got mine set to 6. Once you change these settings, you can just go ahead and click file and then save, and then you can exit out of that. Now you want to stay on the advanced options menu, right click, go over to properties, and you want to make sure you check this to read only. This will make sure that these settings are saved every time you load up your computer. If you want to go and change these settings, you just got to make sure that this is unchecked, and then you can go ahead and change the numbers. But yeah, so just make sure that box is ticked, click apply, and then OK. And one last thing before we go into the in-game settings, every time you load up BattleNet, and just before you load up Warzone, you want to go and right click on the taskbar, click on Task Manager, Now you want to find the Battle.net app, click the arrow next to it, and the first one that doesn't have the 32-bit next to it, you just want to right click, go to details. The one that's highlighted, you want to right click again, go to set priority and make sure that this is set to high, change priority, and then you can just go and exit out. Now this will go and change every time that you exit out of Battle.net, so just before you go and load up Modern Warfare, make sure that you remember to go onto your task manager and follow the steps I've just shown and set the priority to high. Right, so now we're going to jump into the in-game settings. If you come down to the options menu in the bottom left, I'm going to be starting off with the display. Display mode, make sure this is on full screen for the best FPS possible. Screen refresh rate, make sure this is the highest number. Render resolution, make sure this number's at 100. This will be in line with your monitor resolution, so I play at 1440. Dynamic resolution disabled. Sync every frame for VSync, I have that disabled, definitely have this off. Custom frame rate limit, I have mine set to custom. I have my in-game set to 300 max, and then my menus at 60. This is just so your PC isn't overloading in the menus, you don't need anything higher than 60. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Make sure you've got your Nvidia Reflex low latency, enable plus boost for the lowest input delay, and also an increase in FPS too. Highlights, I mean, most people have this disabled, so I'd have this off too. Quality tab, field of view, I have mine set to 120. This is what most people play on PC. Camera movement, this is a new feature in the new season. The higher the camera movement, the less smooth your game's going to look, so make sure this is on the least at 50. Streaming quality on low, texture resolution on low, anisotropic on low. Particle quality, this has no difference in your frames at all, so low and high are both exactly the same. I tested this out, so you may as well have a nicer looking game with them set to high. Bullets, impacts and sprays, a lot of people have these disabled, but I didn't see any FPS differences at all with this setting, so it's nice to see where bullets are actually coming from. I have this on enabled. Tessellation, I have this on disabled. Dismemberment and gore on disabled. Now, on-demand texture streaming, this is a very big one for FPS in Warzone. If you have this disabled, then you should be good. If you're experiencing inconsistent frames, make sure this isn't on either of these options. This will be constantly downloading information and textures to your PC as you're playing. You're going to see a lot of dips in your frame rate, so make sure this is on disabled. Filmic strength, I have mine set to 0. On 1440p, this is the clearest image for me. I'll come to the anti-aliasing in a minute, because a lot of people used to say if you have it on off or 1 times, set your filmic strength to max on 1. I actually feel like my game's clearer with 0, so yeah, that's what my filmic strength is set to. Filmic grain on 0, DLSS on disabled. Now you can have a play around with these. You will get a frame boost, definitely with quality. That's the one I would run, because I'm on a 2K resolution. So if you're playing on 1440, you could play around and test quality. I wouldn't go near performance or ultra performance. They're just gonna make your game look terrible. But I'd recommend for 99% of people to have DLSS disabled. Anti-aliasing, I'd have this on off or 1 times, especially if you're on 1440. Picture quality is great on these monitors, so I feel like with the anti-aliasing, off makes the game look very sharp, and also you have a much bigger frame increase if you have this off as well. Depth of field, I have mine on disabled. World motion blur disabled, weapon motion blur disabled. Shadow map resolution on low. Make sure the cache, sun shadows and spot shadows are both enabled. Sometimes these like to reset when you load up your game, so make sure you come to your graphics every time you load up. Make sure these are enabled. You will get a frame boost with these on. Particle quality on low, and the rest for lighting all off on disabled. Audio settings, you guys don't really need to know much about this. It's all just whatever works best for you, to be honest. But one thing I would mention is the audio mix. I think boost low is the best for footsteps. I know a lot of people play on boost high. I've tried both, and boost low definitely works the best for me for hearing footsteps and chests and so on and so forth. So yeah, definitely try boost low out if you haven't already. Next up is the controller settings. Button layout, I play default. This is because I play claw. So I use my index finger to press all 4 buttons, so I don't need I don't need to play tactical or anything. I know tactical is best for a lot of people, just so you can slide while still keeping your finger on the stick. Dead zones, my left stick and right stick are both 0.06. My controller's fairly new, I could probably even run 0.05 to be honest. If you have a lot of stick drift, turn this up. I'd go into a custom games, get it right down to 0. You'll see that you've got, a lot of stick drift. Put it up 1, then put it up 2, then 3, then 4, then 5 until your stick drift stops. That's the best way to find what dead zone is the best for your controller. Left stick, right stick, all the way up, 0.99. Horizontal and vertical, I play on 7.7. I feel like this is the perfect sense for me. I feel like Warzone, you do have to be quick as well as accurate. 5, 6, 4 was all too low for me. Anything higher than 7 was too high. So this was like a perfect middle ground for me. Quick enough to react to things and also be accurate as well. ADS sense multiplier, I have mine on 1. Custom sensitivity per zoom I have on, so these are all my custom sense for my ADS. Before the update it was just low and high. I had 0.8 low and 1.05 high, so I've basically just transferred that to these settings here. So all the way up to 5 times zoom I've got 0.8, anything higher 1.05. Next up is aim response curve type, definitely dynamic. Dynamic is the best. I've tried all 3 and dynamic definitely seems to be the one that the majority of people run as well. Controller vibration, this is personal preference. I've got mine on enabled. This is what I've played for years. Aim assist set to standard. Scale aim assist with FOV, I actually have this on enabled. Don't know why that's on disabled. Other than that, not too much left on this section. Use reload behavior, contextual tap. This is the fastest for looting chests, opening doors. Armor plate behavior, apply all. This is just so you hold down the plate button once and it will apply all the plates. You can take your finger off that button and it will do all the work for you. Movement, most important over here is the automatic tactical sprint and slide behavior. Slide behavior on tap, this is the fastest slide cancelling. Automatic sprint, automatic tactical sprint. This just basically means every time you push that stick forward you don't need to click it down to tactical sprint for the max speed. It'll just automatically put you in that tactical sprint, which is the best for movement, best for going into slide cancels. Definitely have this setting on. Parachute auto deploy on disabled. So that's it for all the in-game settings. I won't be able to cover any keyboard and mouse settings as I am primarily a controller player. Other than that, we'll get straight into the Nvidia filter settings. Next up, we're going to jump into the Nvidia filter settings to make your game go looking from this to this. Now what you want to do is click Alt-Z on your keyboard, come over to the game filter settings. Now you want to put these in order of colour first, then brightness, then details. I will start off with the details tab. Sharpen at 80, clarity at 76, HDR toning at 24, and bloom on 0. Brightness and contrast, exposure on 10, contrast on 15, highlights on -60, shadows on -80, gamma on 0. And finally the colour tab, we're going to be starting off with tint colour at 35, tint intensity at 0, temperature on 2.5, and vibrance on 100. I'll just scroll to the top so you guys can copy all these settings. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video did help with increasing your frame rates in the new season of Warzone. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.